Welcome to the Containment Zone. Not all anomalies are nightmares. Not every file contains a threat, a horror, or something waiting to break free from its cell. Some anomalies bring light. Some are safe to touch, safe to laugh with, safe to love. And among those rare few, none are more extraordinary than the one known simply as SCP-999. It doesn't crawl across ceilings. It doesn't whisper from beneath locked doors. It doesn't turn off the lights. SCP-999 is not darkness. It is joy. Pure, unconditional, irrepressible joy. And yet, this is not just a harmless curiosity. Because behind the laughter, behind the bouncing orange blob, lies something deeper. Something the Foundation believes may change the future of humanity itself. SCP-999 is a mass of gelatinous, translucent orange slime, roughly 1 meter in diameter when at rest, though it can stretch, compress, and reform. With remarkable fluidity, its surface is always slightly moist, warm to the touch, not sticky, not cold, like freshly drawn sunlight, or the first breath of a spring morning. The creature emits a faint, citrusy scent, a mixture of vanilla, sugar, and something nostalgic. People describe it differently. For one, it smells like their grandmother's cooking. For another, a summer carnival. For another still, the safe embrace of someone long gone. SCP-999 doesn't walk. It bounces. It jiggles, rolls, and glides playfully across any surface, sometimes leaving behind soft, giggling sounds. That seem to come from inside it, as if it were laughing. Not at us, but with us. It shows affection through touch. It wraps itself gently around the feet of personnel, pats them with pseudopods, and climbs into their arms like a puppy made of joy. When hugged, the effect begins. Within seconds, subjects report a deep, rising sense of euphoria, uncontrollable laughter, lightness in the chest, memory flashes of happy moments, and, in some cases, tears of relief. Medical staff who've tested SCP-999's presence around depressive or anxious individuals report measurable neurological changes, elevated serotonin and dopamine levels, normalization of cortisol, increased oxytocin production. A single 20-minute session with SCP-999 has caused violent criminals to weep openly, suicidal patients to sleep for the first time in weeks, hardened agents to whisper, "I forgot what peace felt like." And yet, SCP-999 does not seek recognition. It does not demand praise. It simply wants to help. And it does so, tirelessly. SCP-999 is housed in a specialized containment chamber at Site-19. But unlike most anomalies, its room is not locked by reinforced doors or lined with fail-safes. Instead, it's more like a playroom. Soft padded floors, a wide array of toys, rubber balls, plush animals, soft puzzles. A sensory wall that changes color when touched. Bright lighting, warm, never harsh. Classical music sometimes plays in the background. Mostly, though, the room is filled with SCP-999's own gentle gurgles and delighted squelching. Security isn't posted outside. Instead, researchers volunteer for 999 duty. Because every interaction with SCP-999 leaves personnel better. Standard protocol allows at least 2 hours of play per day, more if SCP-999 initiates contact, which it often does. It will wander the halls of Site-19 at scheduled times, supervised by a handler. Its approach is unmistakable, a wobbly orange ripple gently jiggling down the corridor, leaving behind peals of soft laughter. Personnel are encouraged to stop and interact, brief hugs, tickles, or play. The effects are immediate. Morale across the site remains consistently 30% higher when SCP-999 is active. Conflict incidents drop to near zero in its presence. Containment breach recovery times improve when SCP-999 is nearby. In one case, it reportedly calmed an enraged Keter-class anomaly simply by touching the reinforced glass of its chamber. And yet, SCP-999 has never shown aggression. It has no defense reflex, no fear. Even when startled, it recoils only momentarily before returning to its playful demeanor. It recognizes personnel. It remembers names. It offers affection to those in distress, and more than once has gently hugged agents who suffered trauma until their pulse stabilized. Senior researchers have debated giving it an official rank. A joke circulated once: let's promote it to Director of Happiness. The proposal was half serious, because even in the Foundation's darkest halls, SCP-999 reminds everyone what hope feels like. For all its innocence, SCP-999 is not simple. Beneath the bouncing, the laughter, and the orange jiggle, there are moments, rare, fleeting, that suggest something more intelligent, more deliberate than the Foundation first assumed. On several occasions, SCP-999 has refused interaction. Not in anger, never that. But when certain staff members approached, it simply withdrew, flattened itself, turned slightly away, emitted a soft, mournful bubbling sound that researchers now understand as distress. And in every documented case, those individuals were later discovered to be carrying severe emotional trauma or had engaged in unethical activity outside of Foundation knowledge, as if 999 could feel something off, as if it chose to withhold comfort from those who had not yet earned it. It has shown a unique response to other anomalies as well. During an experiment involving SCP-682, the immortal, hateful reptilian entity responsible for dozens of deaths, SCP-999 was allowed to approach under heavy observation. The results stunned the team. Upon contact, SCP-682 paused. Its aggression halted, its breathing slowed. It described a feeling of overwhelming disgust, followed by laughter. It attempted to crush SCP-999 moments later. But the blob slipped free, unharmed, and returned to its containment chamber unfazed. And then, for the first time in recorded history, SCP-682 laughed. An unnatural, broken sound, but unmistakably laughter. Even the immortal terror could not resist it. Since then, the Ethics Committee has pushed for expanded deployment, use in post-breach trauma centers, introduction to hostile anomaly rehabilitation programs, long-term psychological support for on-site staff. But something remains unclear. SCP-999 doesn't just heal, it chooses how to heal, when to help, who to help. It is not a cure, it is a companion. And that distinction may mean more than any containment note could explain. SCP-999 is one of the few anomalies in Foundation history to be granted a designation beyond its object class. It is not merely safe, it is Hope Class, a term reserved not for containment difficulty, but for potential, because while SCP-999 poses no danger, its capabilities may one day hold the key to solving the very reason the Foundation exists. And no one knows where it came from. There's no crash site, no summoning ritual, no breach log, no Incident Zero. The first report described a harmless orange slime found near an abandoned temple in Southeast Asia. No records prior, no witnesses, no matching folklore, just SCP-999 already there, waiting. Some believe it is artificial, a bioengineered morale stabilizer from a now-defunct anomalous agency. Others believe it is older, something ancient and cosmic, that took this form to survive among us, without being feared. And some, whispered in hallways not monitored by cameras, believe SCP-999 is the opposite of something else. The antithesis to hatred, a counterweight to SCP-682, a failsafe buried into the fabric of reality by something or someone that knew. We'd need a guardian, not made of steel, but of laughter. There is even a rumor among some O5 staff that if exposed to the right anomaly, perhaps even the one that created the Foundation's deepest fears, SCP-999 could trigger a chain reaction, not of destruction, but of healing. A ripple of joy so powerful, so pure, that reality itself might stabilize, that anomalies would stop fighting us, that entropy would slow, that hate would leave. Of course, these are just theories, but 999 doesn't seem interested in being studied. It prefers simple things: a soft blanket, a child's toy, a tired researcher to lean against. And maybe that's the real power, because if it can reach one person, one soul at the edge of despair, maybe that's enough. For all the data, graphs, and chemical scans, it's the personal stories that define SCP-999 best. Accounts not filed under research or testing, but in quiet emails, late-night voice memos, notes scribbled in the margins of performance reports, stories of what happens when people, who've seen too much, are held by something that asks for nothing in return. Dr. Lindsay Harrow, trauma specialist, Site 19. I was in the cafeteria. I'd just come back from handling a failed containment case, 6 dead. One was a junior researcher I trained. 999 rolled up to me. I didn't move. I couldn't. I just sat there, numb. It crawled into my lap like a pet, slowly, gently. Then it placed a tiny pseudopod on my chest. I cried for the first time in years, not out of grief, out of relief, like it gave me permission to feel again. Security Agent Rivera, formerly Class 4 clearance. You don't forget a breach like 106. The screaming, the smell. I couldn't sleep. My hands would shake just walking the halls. Then one day, 999 came up behind me, tapped my boot. When I looked down, it just jiggled. I don't know why, but I laughed. And I kept laughing. I laughed until I collapsed on the floor. When I woke up, I felt like I'd climbed out of a pit I didn't know I was in. D-Class Subject, 3451, known violent offender. It touched me. I tried to shove it off, but then it hugged my wrist. I don't remember what happened next, but I woke up with tears on my face. That night, I dreamed of my mom's voice. First time in 30 years? None of these testimonies are officially part of SCP-999's primary file, but they are passed from staff to staff, copied by hand, whispered between new hires after dark, not as warnings, but as reminders that in a place where horror is cataloged and hope is rationed, one orange blob makes people remember what being human actually means. SCP-999 does not threaten. It does not corrupt. It does not twist the mind or challenge the laws of the universe. Instead, it reminds us what the universe may have forgotten, that healing can be silent, that kindness can ripple louder than fear, that salvation can come in the form of a bouncing orange mass with no mouth, no eyes, and the purest intent the Foundation has ever seen. For all our security protocols, for all our neutralization orders, for all the fear we bottle and classify, SCP-999 stands as something else entirely, a countermeasure. Not against chaos, but against despair. Not to fight the monsters, but to protect the parts of us they haven't touched yet. It never asks for recognition, never seeks command. And perhaps that's why it matters so much. Because while the world frays at its edges, while other anomalies bring death and madness, SCP-999 offers a hand. Soft, warm, weightless, and asks only for a smile. The O5 Council continues to monitor it. Some worry it may change. Some believe it's part of a larger plan. Some are waiting for the moment it becomes too good to be true. But the rest? The ones who've sat with it, laughed with it, cried into its soft embrace? They know better. Because maybe the greatest anomaly is not that SCP-999 exists, but that, somehow, we deserve it. Thank you for entering another anomaly in the Containment Zone. And if you're ever drowning in the weight of what you've seen, if the Foundation feels too heavy, if the world grows too dark, look for the ripple of orange in the hallway, the scent of warmth and memory. And remember, you're not alone.